you find yourself taking lots of supplements or overwhelmed by supplements? Maybe you were given a couple from your doctor and a couple from your chiropractor, and you were reading this book and you were like, you know what, that sounds like symptoms I'm dealing with. I'm going to take this new supplement. And before long, we have a whole bin that we need to get out every single time we go into the kitchen or eat a meal. And it's very quickly, we get very overwhelmed by all these supplements. If this is something you're dealing with, I just want to talk to you a minute because I have a philosophy on supplements that might be a little different, and hopefully this will help you to be swallowing less pills at the end of the day. Welcome to Health and Hormones. I'm Rita Johnson. Here you will get fatigue solutions, period help, hormone healing, and a real life approach that works for you. Let's dive in. It is not uncommon when I start working with somebody that they tell me, I just really would love if at the end of this, I was taking less supplements. And I feel you. I have definitely been there. And there's so many different approaches to supplements. But ultimately, what I find more and more is that a lot of times when we start taking supplements, it becomes like a medication. It quickly becomes a band aid solution. Now, there are times and seasons when we need a supplement forever and ever, amen, right? Ongoing, this is just going to be a new reality for us. Some of those situations are things like if we had a gallbladder removal, I would say you always need some digestive support while you're eating. If you are in years that you're very open to pregnancy, you have back to back babies, definitely taking some folate ongoing is going to be really critical for you. But truly, there aren't a lot of times when we should be taking a whole medicine cabinet full of supplements for a very long period of time. It should be more quick and to the point healing. So, if there's work we need to do, if we're trying to cooperate with some symptoms and figure out how much support your body needs, then yes, we may have a season where we're taking regular supplements or even a lot of supplements, but it should be a bookmarked period of time. So, for those of you that are wondering, will I ever be able to take less supplements? Yes. If we can support the function of your digestion, if we can look at your diet and make those dietary changes, if we can really see what your body needs to be supported and learn to listen to it, that can help us to figure those things out a lot quicker. So, how do we move forward from here? So, say you're somebody that is doing the whole cabinet every time you're eating right now. The first thing I would say is, and this might not be the most popular answer, but are those supplements really moving the needle for you? Sometimes when we're taking things, we're like, well, I was told I should take this, or I thought I should do this. And if we take it on and we don't notice if it's helping or not, then we could take a pause on that and see, is that really making a difference or not? This also applies if we think we're reacting to something and we're not sure what it is. It could very well be your supplement, especially if you're very diligent about taking it every single day. So another question I get asked about supplements is, it helps, but is this the cost of how I must get healthy? And I would usually say no, because there are those things that we can do to support your body to get it to jumpstart to do what it needs to do anyway. For example, sometimes we need to do something like take progesterone bioidentically with our cycles. But once we can start to work on the things that are going to support your body's ability to make progesterone, and that might be cofactors for progesterone, things like, vitamin E is really helpful and supportive for progesterone production, or calming down your stress response, getting a wide variety of nutrient dense whole foods. These things are all going to help with that as well. And so, if we can do that, then in time we may be able to get rid of that additional external form of whether it's a supplement or whether it's a medication. And that I think really gets into, this other question I get asked all the time is, am I even digesting my supplements? And this is a question I love to hear people asking, because if we aren't breaking down our food enough that we can get those nutrients from our food, then we're also going to have a hard time breaking down our supplements enough to get those nutrients from our supplements. And so either way, we may need to first and foremost support your digestive processes so we can break down and absorb the nutrients from your food and the nutrients from your supplements. And so, how do we do that? But we need to look at what are your signs and symptoms of dysfunction in the digestive process. Sometimes this is things like, bloating or feeling really gassy after eating. Sometimes there's pain associated with it. Sometimes it's heartburn, indigestion, or it might just be constipation, then sometimes diarrhea. These are all things that are telling me that your digestive process needs some additional support. And from there, we can really go on a journey to figure out what other symptoms you have that are helping us narrow down what are those symptoms telling us that the way that your body uniquely needs to be supported. And then we would really buckle down and support it so that you no longer need that external support. For example, for my own personal health journey, when I was struggling with indigestion, I was having heartburn pretty regularly. At night, I'd be going to bed and I felt nauseous, and I would feel that burning in the back of my throat, particularly when I was going to bed at the end of the day. And so I found, knowing what I know, that I just needed some digestive support. I needed pancreatic enzymes and an additional support for hydrochloric acid. And as I did those things over time, my body started to metabolize and break down my food. So I no longer needed those external supports. And now I don't have any of those symptoms and I'm not taking those supplements. So through trial and error and figuring out how much I needed, appropriately supporting my body for a time, then I was able to ease back off of those supplements and no longer need them for digestive support. I hope this helps. Whatever you're dealing with right now, whatever symptoms feel heavy, and if you are just so frustrated and fed up with taking all the supplements, I want you to be able to reduce that number of pills. Yes, temporarily, we may have to increase it, but overall, long term, we should definitely be reducing that. If you have more questions about heartburn, indigestion, I have an episode where I'm specifically diving into why I never ignore heartburn, and you shouldn't either. I'll link it below in the show notes. Please like and subscribe for more content from me.